Hi guys and girls, today we are going to talk about investigation 3 from Data About Us. The focus is on interquartile range, and before we get to that I want to go over some vocabulary with you that'll help explain how to find interquartile range. So first we have quartiles, and quartiles, the definition says 3 points that divide or separate an ordered set of data into 4 equal groups. So you can see here that I've underlined 4 in orange and quart in orange. If you know quart, the root word quart here, quart, there are 4 quarts in a gallon. Quart means 4. That QUA gives it away. What it's saying in this definition is, if I take a piece of data, a list of numbers, and I divide it into 4 equal parts, my quartile is actually the 3 points that are used to divide that data into my 4 equal parts. So those lines there that divide the data into the 4 equal parts are called my quartiles. Okay? Now, each one of those quartiles has a specific definition. For example, when I'm listing the data in order from least to greatest, the lower quartile is the median of the data to the left of the median, which is also known as quartile 1. The median, we know, is the midpoint. The middle, which is also known as quartile 2. So if I go back up here for a minute, the very middle of my data, the midpoint, is quartile 2. And then this definition here for the lower quartile is saying the median of the data to the left of the median. So here, this is my quartile 1. Out of all of my 3 quartiles, I have quartile 1, quartile 2, which is also my median. And then you guessed it, this is going to be my quartile 3. And that is also called the upper quartile. It's the median of the data to the right of the median, also known as Q3. So let's take a look at what this is actually talking about. We'll apply these definitions to another list of data. And I'm going to focus on the data that we looked at in investigation 1 when we were talking about length of names, and we took a look at the Chinese name lengths. So I took some random pieces of data, my 4, 6, 7, 5, 9, 7, 6, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7, 9, and 6 for my Chinese name lengths. And this is what we used when we made our frequency table and our line plot. And I took this data, the very first thing I had to do was write it in order from least to greatest. So I've already done that just for time's sake here. And then what I need to do after that is I need to find my median. I need to figure out where the middle is. So that's going to give me my quartile 2. And it might seem silly to start with quartile 2. You might think, why don't we start with quartile 1? But if we think about our definitions for quartile 1 and quartile 3, they're based off of the median. So I need my median first. So I'm going to go ahead and count how many pieces of data I have here to see if that helps me find the median. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pieces of data. So my median should be right in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It should be right here. So I'm just going to double check. Do I have 7 pieces of data on each side? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. So right here is going to be my median, which is my Q2. Okay, now in order to find my Q1, which is my lower quartile, because it deals with my lower numbers, I need to find the middle, the median of just this piece of data. So if it helps, cover up that other data for right now and just look at the middle of the data from the left side to the median. So I'm going to count how many pieces of data I have again here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that tells me that if I were to count to find the middle, it should be this number right here. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3 on this side and 1, 2, 3 on this side. Perfect. So this is going to be my Q1, which is also known as my lower quartile. Because it's in the middle of where my data starts all the way to my median. And I can do the same thing on the other side of my median, from my median to the right side of my data, which is going to be my upper quartile. So if I have 3 pieces of data, this one in the middle, another 3 pieces of data, I'm going to circle this here. This is going to be my upper quartile, which will be known as Q3. Okay, so now after we've done all of this, it's going to have everything set up for us to find our interquartile range. So let's take a look at what that is. Interquartile range, which also can be known as IQR, is the difference of values of the upper quartile, Q3, and the lower quartile, Q1. So basically what this is saying is, if I take my Q3, my upper quartile, and I subtract my Q1, my lower quartile, I'll get the interquartile range. What this means, guys and girls, is I'm looking at the range between the inner quartiles. I'm not looking at the range of all of the data. If I wanted the range of all of the data, I would take my maximum and subtract my minimum. I'm looking at the range of the quartiles. So I'm looking at the highest quartile minus the lowest quartile. So my interquartile range, if I'm looking for IQR of the data I have here, I need to do quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So that means I'm taking 7 from my quartile 3, and 5 is my quartile 1, and that gives me an answer of 2. So my IQR, my interquartile range, is 2. That just tells me that the difference between my lower quartile and my upper quartile is 2. There's a range of 2 between my data and my quartiles here. Okay? So that is interquartile range. And I'm going to do one more example with you to help you understand interquartile range. So let's look at US name links. Okay, US name links. Now, if you have a piece of paper and a pencil at home, go ahead and write these numbers down. First of all, I've just randomly chosen some numbers of US name links. So I have 10, 12, 14, 16, 9, 21, 12, 13, 15, 14, 17, 11, 11, 12, and 13. Then I'm asking you to rewrite the data in order least to greatest. And then I'm going to have the answers here for you. So if you need to pause for a moment and rewrite those, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, now to check your answers, here's the data in order least to greatest. And what I need to do now is I need to find the median, the middle number. So I'm going to go ahead and count how many pieces of data I actually have here to see if that helps me find the median. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have an odd number of pieces of data, which tells me my median should be a number that I can circle. So I can count over 7 and circle the next number, and I should have 7 on the other side of that number as well. Or if you like to, guys and girls, and this is what you've learned in elementary school, cross a number out on each side. Least, greatest, least, greatest, least, greatest, least, greatest, least, greatest, until you find the median. You can do that. I caution you to cross out very lightly so that you can still see the number, because remember, you have to go back and find Q1 and Q3. So those numbers still need to be visible, okay? Some students like to just put a little check mark above the number so they can still read the number, all right? So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers on this side. This is my Q2, or my median. Okay. Now, if I like crisscrossing, I can crisscross back and forth the other way. And here is my Q1, which is also known as my upper quartile. And then crisscross, crisscross, crisscross. And I will have my Q3. Oops, goodness, I made a mistake here. Some of you might have been yelling at the screen, right? Wait, 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 that's lower. Here's my upper. We all make mistakes, right? Okay, here we go. Now that I have Q1, Q2, Q3, and notice in the directions I put find Q2 first. That's our median. Now we need to find the IQR. So to find IQR, I need to remember that fancy formula where I'm just finding the range of the quartiles. So IQR is taking Q3 minus Q1. So basically I'm taking the maximum of the quartiles. So Q3 is 15 minus Q1, which is 11, and subtracting them to get 4. So what this tells me this time is the range of data of the quartiles for US name lengths is 4. So this should make sense, guys and girls, because when we talked about the Chinese name lengths, the Chinese name lengths only varied from 4 letters in a name to 9 letters in a name. And then if we look at the quartiles, they range from 5 to 7. So that's only a difference of 2. The Chinese name lengths are shorter. Their IQR, interquartile range, is shorter. The United States name lengths were longer. They ranged from 9 all the way to 21, and the quartiles ranged from 11 to 15, which gave us an IQR of 4. So their range is a little bit larger than the Chinese name length because the US name lengths are a little bit longer. Okay, so that is IQR, interquartile range. And if you need to, please go back and revisit the beginning of this video with your vocabulary to help you in your next assignments. Okay, thank you for tuning in.